nothing feeds the body and the soul quite like growing your own food.
Young strawberries are beginning to appear.
So whether your plot is large, small,
The apple tree is now in full blossom and there are bees everywhere.
or you don't have one at all,
Doesn't even need a garden.
each week Mrs. Titchmarsh and I
OK, Alison, follow me.
and the Love Your Garden team will show you how easy it is to fill your garden with delicious treats.
Just smells amazing.
There couldn't be a better time to enjoy fabulous flavours
You like it?
Nice.
from your own fruit and veg patch.
So join me and the team as we reveal the secrets to growing your own.
As temperatures rise, this week we're cramming our plots with delicious delights. From the nation's favourite salad
The only problem is bringing yourself to cut things out of it and ruin the picture.
to fruit and herbs hanging on your wall,
Always looks jazzy.
ripping up the lawn to create a mini allotment,
I may have my work cut out for me.
and adding flowers that look good and keep the pests away.
Isn't it beautiful? I love them.
The sun is shining, flowers are blooming. It can only mean one thing: summer is here.
It's an exciting time on the veg patch too. Everything is beginning to grow. Shall we show them, Alison? Yeah, Mrs. T is still on camera. Sterling work. The runner beans are getting close to those poles before they start twining. And over on the other patch there, lots of growth from broad beans, peas, carrots. It really is that burgeoning time of year.
It's also a great time for planting salad vegetables. There's no room for them in my veg patches, so I'm building a new 1 metre square raised bed for mine.
What I want to show you today is how to grow salad crops in a tiny area so that they look pretty.
Easy to grow and requiring little maintenance, lettuce, Britain's most popular salad, is a great crop for the first-time veg grower. It can be grown from seed or young plants until August and harvested until November.
What you could do here is simply make little drills and sow your lettuce seeds in a pretty pattern. I can do that, but you won't have much to look at, so I've managed to find some small plants which I can put in, which will give you an idea of how pretty this can be, and they'll still have plenty of weeks of growing and plenty of weeks of harvesting.
You can buy young lettuce plants in trays, and I'm using red Lollo Rosso and contrasting green Butterhead.
Now, I'm planting these lettuces quite close together. You can easily space them twice this much apart if you want bigger lettuces to mature over a longer period. It's important when you're planting lettuce not to put them in too deeply. Exactly at the point at which the lettuce plant meets the earth should be level with the new earth, otherwise they tend to rot off at the bottom.
As these plants grow, they'll fill the gaps, creating a striking and delicious tasting feature. When they reach 4 inches high, you can start picking the leaves and they'll grow back within days.
Look at that though, when the sun comes out and shines on it, it positively glows. And it really is the simplest thing to do.
While I've been cramming in the salad, Katie has been wrestling with a different space-saving problem. How to grow your own when you only have a wall.
Fancy living walls and big vertical gardens used to be seen as a bit out there, and they were also tricky to install and really expensive. But you know what? Things have moved on a bit.
Kate is creating a vertical fruit and veg patch using a living wall system you can buy online.
You can buy this starter kit from about 40 quid, and that gives you 12 planting pockets, which you could use under a window or any tight space, really.
The pockets are split into rows of 3 and are held in place by battens.
It is pretty straightforward. The bottom one you fasten to the batten, and then the next one up just simply stacks on top. Right.
Katie's bought 4 kits to create a feature on each side of the door.
There we go. They're up. Now for plants.
A living wall can make a dramatic feature, but the pockets you plant in are often small, so Katie's chosen plants that are happy in nooks and crannies.
Now, I've got a mixture of all sorts going in here. Flowers as well as edibles, because I do want it to look really pretty. I've got this oregano in the front. It's called green carpet. It's a lovely lime colour, which I really like. And then Bidens, which will give me these pretty daisy-like flowers for most of the summer. And then this is chocolate peppermint, and it smells amazing. I think my daughter's going to particularly like using that in baking and things. And then I've got some strawberries. Now, these have got lots of strawberries coming on them and lots of flowers yet to come. And the nice thing is as well, they will tumble beautifully, leaving strawberries at a height where the slugs can't get them, which is an added bonus.
All living walls need regular watering. Once a day is fine.
Now, in order to keep this looking good, a bit of care, little and often, will be best. Any flowers that need deadheading, do so. And any plants that are getting too big and smothering others, cut them back. Oh, he looks jazzy.
For smaller spaces and budgets, you can buy a thinner fabric container for a fraction of the price.
For about £3.50, you can get one of these, and it's just a matter of filling it with compost, pushing the plants through the pockets, and with strawberries and tumbling tomatoes in, it should look really good. Once it's had regular water and feed, the plants will cover this entire bag. You won't even see it. I am so happy with my little green walls. They've got so many edibles in them, they look really colourful and cheery. I absolutely love them.
Wherever you choose to grow them, all fruit and veg plants need one thing to thrive.
That is good soil. And good soil needs organic matter in it to provide nutrients and to hold on to moisture. Those nutrients come from here, the compost heap.
You can buy soil enrichment in bags, of course, but with many of us out mowing and pruning, now is a great time to save some pennies and create your own garden compost.
Now, a big garden needs a big compost heap, but even a small garden can fit in one like this. Make it a good metre square. Any smaller and it tends to dry out. And also a good framework. This is a shop-bought one, but it stops the compost heap from slithering and sliding all the way across your garden. What do you put in? Your vegetable waste, annual weeds, soft prunings from flowers, and lawn mowings. No thick-rooted weeds, because they might survive. No food products from the house. No bread, no cooked vegetables. Potato peelings are OK. And crushed eggshells are fine. They won't rot down, but they'll give it a bit of body. Put a hose pipe on it in really dry weather. But the rest of the time, a piece of old carpet like this, just chuck it over the top. And that will stop the sun's rays from scorching it.
It takes a few months for your compost to be ready, but once you get started, you'll be on a roll. One compost heap I'll never forget was in Finn and Nicky's unbelievable garden in Wiltshire.
Gosh, this is impressive.
It's fed entirely by homegrown compost.
One of our great passions is recycling everything, so composting is our big love, really. I liken our relationship to a compost heap.
We get quite hot.
What I was about to discover would blow my mind.
Finn, there is a disturbing light in your eye. This is clearly a passion.
It's a twinkle in my eye.
When the material in a compost heap breaks down, it releases heat. So the warmer your heap, the more efficient it is.
This feels very warm.
It is. The bacteria in there heat it up to, well, if it's got grass clippings in, it hits 70 degrees.
So how hot is this going to be now down in there?
Let's have a look.
Oh, this is exciting, isn't it? Like having your temperature taken. So it's... Oh, it's shooting up. 60, you're knocking on 65.
Pretty soon, we're going to get down so hot that you burn your hands there.
Whoosh!
Finn's heap gets so hot, he's found another use for it.
A while ago, I was thinking, what a shame there's all this heat in here. I wish we could use it.
Oh, wow. So we got a casserole dish in here?
Yes.
This is very exciting. I'll go pop, that's all right. Oh, look at this. Look in there. Oh, the smell, it's glorious. It has cooked. It really has. It smells divine. Fancy being able to cook brisket in your compost heap.
Oh, I like that.
Absolutely perfect.
An easy way to grow your own in a small space is in a traditional planter on legs, the veg trug. And as I like to keep my team on their toes, I've sent each of them the exact same trug and given them free rein to create their own personalised version of this classic planter. And it's getting a bit competitive.
Feeling pretty good about my trug so far.
Hope you like it, Alan.
And of course, I couldn't resist having a go myself.
Time to catch up with the team. Hello!
Hello!
Hi.
I set you a challenge. How have you got on? Mine is not being judged. Can't be winner.
Well, you say that.
I decided to go for a muted dove grey. It's just over there, and it's planted up entirely with herbs, so that Mrs. T can toddle across a very short distance to get her herbs. David, the family man, what's yours like?
Well, we've had some time. I've got some time with the girls, so we have created a garden landscape. So there's quite a lot of fairies and ladybirds, and we worked the theme in of the NHS rainbow and a cheeky dog just hiding underneath the sunflowers.
Well, it's not the kind of image I'd associated with you, but I think that's really rather lovely. Francis, now what have you done with yours?
The biggest challenge I had was getting it in the garden. I'm afraid I had to carve the trug because it wouldn't sit and in its full glory. I don't know if you can see it behind me. I like a cup of tea, and it's right by the kitchen window. So I thought I'm going to fill it with things I can make my own tea with. So I've got bergamot, I've got lemon verbena, mint, chamomile, and I painted it, of course, like a teacup.
It looks fab.
Katie, what have you done?
So my theme is dark and stormy.
Oh, a bit like yourself. Oh, yes.
Got Szechuan pepper, red gooseberries, red kale, radicchio, lots of different red lettuces, chilies.
It's stormy.
Kind of moody and sultry.
They say trugs reflect their owners, you know. Oh, which one will be the winner? Well, it's a shoo-in, really, isn't it? It's got to be the girls and their NHS. So I have to say, Francis, I'll come and have a cup of tea with you any day. So, David, you and your girls win. Lovely to see you. Well done all. Take care. Bye.
Yes!
Well, I could not give it to them, could I? Not content with a prize-winning trug, David's creating the next part of his classic veg patch. To grow enough crops to feed his family all year, he's now planning for a late-season harvest.
Trying to think ahead a bit now into the autumn-winter time. I'm going to be putting in the big stuff.
Autumn and winter crops need lots of room to grow, and predators, like rabbits, love them. So around his new bed, David's adding a wire mesh fence.
I may have my work cut out for me here. First of my big veg is sweet corn. You should really try sweet corn. It's a marvellous crop.
It's too late to grow from seed, but by planting sweet corn plants in June, you'll be enjoying corn on the cob in September.
Now, I'm planting them 30 centimetres apart from each other. It's really because they're quite a big crop. It grows up to about 1.5 metres, sweet corn. It's a big one.
Another big crop you can plant in June for harvesting in October is this Halloween favourite.
I've grown pumpkins for the girls every year, and they're a great crop. They grow quite easily, and you know when they're ripe because they turn from green to this beautiful autumnal orange, just right for Halloween. Now the secret when planting a pumpkin, because they're very thirsty, is to plant the pot as well. In you go, right next to the pumpkin. So when you water, you can fill the pot up and it'll slowly seep in and make sure the pumpkin's properly hydrated. The next batch of plants that I'm putting in are the really hungry ones. They're the brassicas, and I love them.
Brassicas, like cabbages and cauliflowers, can be planted now for harvesting in late summer. But David's adding a winter favourite for harvesting at Christmas.
Now, Brussels sprouts, these become big plants. They'll grow up to about 1 metre. Some of them may need staking because they get quite heavy as well. So I'm giving them 50 centimetre spacing, so there's plenty of room. Christmas Day, when I'm getting ready for the family Christmas dinner, I get the girls, we get our coats on, we run down here and we pick the Brussels fresh and take them back to the kitchen for our Christmas dinner.
The final touch is another layer of protection from aerial attacks.
I've got the fattest pigeons in Warwickshire. These nets are relatively inexpensive. You can get them at garden centres. A couple of bamboo canes, you know, zip tie them at the top, pot over there to hold them into place, bricks to hold the bottom. It's a great homemade bird protection unit. Well, there you have it. It's our big veg.
If you're planting new crops or just want your established plants to thrive, now is the time to stay on top of your veg patch.
When your crops are growing, it's all about keeping them growing without check. Maintenance, watering them before they get too dry, hoeing between the rows like this, cutting off those annual weeds by their stocking tops, which means that the sun will bake them dry and they won't grow again.
But there's another way to help your crops get the best start in life. Frances has reached the halfway stage of her transformation of a narrow backyard into a pretty fruit and veg garden.
Now I want to introduce some colour as well. And luckily there's a way of bringing in colour and helping your fruit and veg to grow.
By adding flowers to her border, Frances is hoping to attract insects that'll keep her plants growing well and healthily.
Now the key to choosing the right flowers are things that insects can actually access. And for that you need something called single flowers. Now a single flower is one layer of petals with an open centre that gives access to the insects to all the nectar and all the pollen that's in that flower. This little plant here is called a calendula. It will also attract pollinators, but it does so much more besides. Calendula will stop any whitefly from coming in. They put them off. Now whitefly, if they do get onto tomatoes, can really decimate the crop.
She's also adding another brightly coloured flower that's a great companion to veg, the French marigold.
Isn't it beautiful? It comes in such a lovely range of burnt reds through to bright yellows and everything in between. And they've fallen a little bit out of favour, but I think it's time they were brought back into fashion because I love them. They're a fantastic companion plant for brassicas, for sweet corns and for beans. Don't plant them too close, but if you plant them near, then it will keep away all kinds of nasty pests.
Another way to add colour and flavour to your garden is with flowers you can eat.
Like this little chap. This is a viola. Beautiful, but also delicious in desserts, salads and in drinks.
In a kitchen garden, edible flowers give you 2 hits for the price of 1. Pansies make pretty and tasty cake decorations. And orange nasturtium petals add a pop of colour to a bed and peppery flavour to a salad.
I'm so happy with how this half of the garden is looking. Not only is it really, really pretty, but nearly everything here is edible.
The joy of growing your own is that there are always new things to try and fabulous new tastes to enjoy. Even if you've only planted a tiny patch, I guarantee if you keep it up, in the next few months, you're in for a treat.
With any luck, it's inspired you to have a go yourself. Till next time, bye-bye.